We are TFR, Truth Frequency Radio.
Good morning, TFR.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. Our day is beginning, there's so much to do.
Hi, this is Alan. I like Ironworx because it's where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
I love Ironworx with Josh, Walt, and Zach. It's like sitting in your front room having a cosy chat with your best friends.
Hi, it's Diva here, and I just want you to know that Ironworx with Josh, Walt, and Zach, it's definitely my favourite dose of reality. Come join the family and keep it flat.
Why sleep in when you could get your dose of iron in the morning? Listen to the Ironworx on TFR.
This is Enlightened Dawn. Roses are red, violets are blue. Iron Realm Media is the best on the plane. To this show, I will forever be true. You guys are truly the best, and I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Do you like listening to space letters from Never a Straight Answer? Then tune in to The Ironworx with Zach, Walter, and Josh. Break clear of the fear on The Ironworx and become an Iron Scout. Mm-hmm.
It's Friday, my dudes.
Thank God it's Friday.
And TGIF, everybody. Welcome to the Ironworx right here on Truth Frequency Radio. My name is Josh Corey. I am joined this morning by three. Count them, three. Good friends and co-hosts joining me this morning. Starting off with one Mr. Walter Johnson, also known as Flat Earth Head on the YouTubes. Walter, how are you, sir?
Good morning, Joshua. Good morning, crew. Good morning, everyone listening, watching, trying to find us. We're here. It's early, but we're doing it to it on this fine, flat Friday. I'm still, coffeeing up my brain and trying to get it to function, but it'll happen. I know, probably right about 10 minutes before we head out. No, I'm ahead of the game today. I'm on my second one, so you may not be able to shut me up. But I'm here, and there's other guys here, so let's say hey to them and let me pour more coffee in here.
All righty. Let's say hello to Lucas, Mr. LC King on YouTube. Lucas, how has your week been, sir?
It's been good. How are you, Josh?
I'm doing reasonably well. I woke up early. I was awake at 2 a.m., an hour before my alarm is set to go off. So.
Wow. Yeah, that's early.
But to be fair, I was in bed by 7:30 p.m., so I guess it just got to balance out.
Yep. No, it's been good. It's been pretty chill. So just doing my usual, so it's good.
Well, that's what I like to hear. And to round off this morning's grouping, we have Mr. Zachary Zabala, a.k.a. Good Times for All on YouTube. Zach, make sure you're unmuted and then tell us how you're doing, sir.
Hey, everybody. How we doing? Yeah, that's crazy, Josh, because I fell asleep about 8:30 and woke up about 3:30, 2:30, something. I don't know. I woke up way too early. And tried falling back asleep and just laid there for like 2 hours, something like that, just waiting for my alarm to go off. Yeah, I don't know, my head's been reeling. I got 369 on the brain, the whole Tesla 369 thing. I'm just laying in bed, seeing numbers.
Well, there was one of those like lo-fi hip-hop music to study to channels that was showing on YouTube when I popped it open this morning to watch a couple First Amendment audits before the show got started this morning. And one of those channels on my recommended feed, because I don't really subscribe to any of those, so there's really no reason for it to be there other than it's being recommended to me. But the title of that particular lo-fi hip-hop stream was Tesla's 369. So I just think that's really interesting. Synchronicities.
And I was thinking, as much as I love the scouts doing the intro Ironworx intro thing, we gotta do a new one now.
We do, don't we?
Yeah.
We definitely do.
And I love that one. It's just great. They couldn't have done it better, but now you guys gotta do it better. So just throwing that out there. Get ready. We're gonna be hitting you all up again.
So we had a pretty interesting little get-together this week on Tuesday. If you guys had tuned in on Friday to Have No Sphere, you will have heard us talking about mask refusals and scripts and things to say and how to stand up for your rights. And we got together with Alex, Critical Inception, and Allison Briscoe, ABCs. And we didn't really get too much into a script, per se, at least not on this one. Allison was kind of curious.
Kind of get to know them, Alex and Allison had never met. I think Alex and a few of us had never even met yet.
Nope.
So it was more of a feeling out. But I think we got a lot of good ideas out there.
I think so too. And a lot of the background. I think it laid a pretty good foundation. And then give us a chance to check into our local laws and regulations and mandates and find out exactly where it is they've written those exemptions into the mandates so that we can get a nice big pile of paperwork to show anybody that wants to stop and try to start enforcing masks. But so short of having a script, I think we got some really good background and a really good direction moving forward. We did get it recorded. I'm going to try to get it edited, hopefully this weekend, because we plan on premiering it on Wednesday of next week whilst we are hanging out. And we'll be talking to Alex and Allison again that Wednesday, and then hopefully having Alex and Allison on Friday to talk about it and actually see what's come of it. So that's one I'm really looking forward to. Turns out GoPros you can get pretty dang cheap. So I've got half a mind to see if I just can't grab one up. Just in case. Just in case. But tonight, I think, is going to be a really good show. If you are into ham radios or anything of the sort, then I think you're really going to enjoy tonight's show. There was a friend of mine at work, Derek, who I found out was really into ham radios. And we were just talking and BSing. And I got to thinking, man, you know who else is really into ham radios?
Savage!
Uh-huh. And if I had one for Bob, I'd give Bob a sting or two, a soundbite. But Bob Globebusters has had his license before he was a flat earther, whereas John was a flat earther and then got his license. So I want to have the three of them, John, Bob, and Derek, talking ham radio and broadcasts and ricocheting off the ionosphere and bouncing around the globe. And I don't know, maybe feel Derek out, see where he is, and see if we can get him to start rethinking how he looks at the shape of the earth and the place in which he lives. I think it's going to be a good conversation. I was just looking forward to it, but yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait.
I think it's going to be a good one.
I love seeing people's reaction when they finally start to realize, like, oh shit, that makes more sense if it's flat.
Mm-hmm.
And these things are my favorite things because it's a technical thing. It's, there's limitations to physics. And radar and stuff like that does not lie. There's technology out there that, you can see a plane 100 feet off the ground, right off the runway, 50 miles away. That shouldn't be possible. Now, most of those towers, they're only allowed to amplify their radars so much, because then they start interfering with other signals possibly. I'm not sure. I think it's because they don't want people knowing the Earth is flat. But I remember hearing this one, what are those guys called? The flight planner guys? Air traffic controllers. And he was up in Canada somewhere where there wasn't like cities around and stuff like that. So he cranked that thing up way up. They only run them at a certain power, and he turned it way up. And he said, yeah, 50 miles away, we could see planes taking off on the runways. And that should be impossible. That's why I love this kind of stuff, because these technical type of people, they know these things. Now, I know with the hand radio operators, they'll say, oh, well, we're bouncing it off the ionosphere and this and that and this and that and yada, yada, yada. But all it takes is that first coin to drop. And once that first coin drops in there, then they just start all falling. So yeah, this should be good. I can't wait to see how far he goes tonight.
Well,
now, does he know you're a flat earther?
Oh yeah, he definitely knows I'm a flat earther. He's listened to a few shows that we've done, so he's got some idea, sort of what he's in for and what to expect. But interestingly, he happens to work on telescopes.
Very interesting.
Yeah. A nice panoramic telescope. So I'd be interested if maybe we could pick his brain a little bit into that too, and maybe get him thinking about how far that telescope can see versus how far it should be able to see if we lived on a ball.
Speaking of telescopes, someone yesterday on Twitter shared, I believe, an advertisement for a telescope. Good for a beginner, good for someone just starting out. I will share this picture with you guys here in chat in a few moments. Blah, 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 blah. A few things are as awe-inspiring as being out under a night sky, looking up. We gathered 10 telescopes, and after 5 months of looking at stars, we think that the unnamed telescope, because they're not paying me to give them advertising, is the best for a curious amateur. It has expensive features, blah, 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 blah. In addition, this scope has an electronic GPS database that is preloaded with almost 40,000 celestial objects. Okay, just wanted to put that out there. So make sure when you get your telescope, it's already got stuff in it to look at. It's easier that way.
So are you saying I could be in my house and tell it where I'm at, and it's going to show me stars through there?
Just reading what I have here in front of me, sir. I'll send it to you guys. Maybe I'm picking up on something wrong here, but to me it sounds like, yeah, here's some pictures to look at with your new telescope.
That's
what I've been saying for years, that anything that you're looking at on the screen, you're out of the loop, you're out of the equation. You're no longer part of the observation. You're not, you're just looking at frickin' what they feed you. Even with a lens that goes through some kind of processing, sometimes I get suspect. But yeah, raw lens, raw telescope, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, it just sounds like a real pain in the ass little screen to have to watch with this augmented reality. Where overlay our computer generated images.
Well, that's the only place you see the clouds being born and the stars having sheep being held by messiahs and whatnot. That's the only place you ever see all that stuff, or on NASA's website. There
Look
or
at
in
this
the
dude.
screen.
Eva says, so it's not a telescope, it's a computer.
It's a Viewmaster is what it freaking is. It's a Viewmaster. Hang on, I'm gonna share this with you.
Shout out to Alan Holman for the super chat.
Absolutely, he's on it already.
Shout out to Jonathan from Jersey,
line producer,
live and awake this morning on camera. Believe it or not, that doesn't happen too often. Look at that. Good morning, Jonathan.
Guys.
How the hell are you doing?
I'm all right.
So he's got the right Skype version.
Yeah, he must have the right Skype version.
Why? What am I doing?
You get to change backgrounds. Apparently, you and Walt are the only ones that have the option to choose your background.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can.
We all realize we have different versions of Skype running at the present time, and nobody's getting updated, so we're not sure what's going on.
No, it even says we're up to date. That's the craziest part. And they're different versions.
Yeah, 3 different versions, all saying they're up to date.
Oh, I got a good here. I've got a good picture up here. So, how you guys doing this morning? Who's this lovely looking man? There's another person on this.
That is Lucas, who you've only heard. You've yet to see.
I salute you, sir. You look like a human being.
If he's not, he's got us all pretty damn tricked because we thought he was too.
He's not reptilian though.
That's what I'm saying. I haven't seen a slit one, not yet.
I got you.
Of course, he is from down under, so you never know. He could be a koala in disguise. We don't know.
No, I just woke up. I literally just woke up. My eyes are like, I went to bed so late. But I didn't get to listen to the rest of the program earlier in the week. I heard you had a killer show, a good killer program.
We did, sir. You dropped a bomb and left us all breaking and figuring shit out for the next hour and a half. So, yeah. Is that your plan again today? Or are you going to hang out?
No.
You going to hang out and see what you
I have a photo shoot over at a hotel at about, what time is it? It's 5:17. Yeah, I'll probably only stay for a segment or so.
Want to come up and see my etchings? I'm just saying.
It's that kind of photo shoot too. It's like, Jack, draw me like one of your French girls, something like that. Anyway, so what is the topic of conversation tonight?
You know, I don't know. It's a real good question. Well, my wife has been dealing with some things at work and facing the possibility of these vaccinations being compulsory at her job. Yeah.
That's not good.
So, in all the different ways of trying to figure out how best to deal, I think I've solved her problems. Well, hopefully. We'll see. Because there is a link I found last night just before going to bed from a website called republicanmandate.com. And I'm going to go ahead and drop this link in the chat because for the people here in the States, it's probably worth having. I'll drop it in here too, just for shits and giggles. Because why not? That way Jonathan can have it too. It is a blank COVID vaccine card that you can download in a PDF form and fill out accordingly. So
that's interesting.
I'm glad you found that because after our show Wednesday, I knew I had one of these saved on my old phone from when I was in Oregon. This kind of thing, you go print it up. I pulled up my phone, loaded it up, charged it up, and when I went to the site on it through the Wi-Fi here at the house to go pull this down because I couldn't find it on my other, either on the website or anywhere. The site's no longer there that I had it saved on, so they pulled that one down already. I don't even know the name of it. It just wasn't there.
I mean, I don't want to say anything. If I was in charge, if I had power and authority over people, I love words like that. I would look at that thing and be like, yeah, okay, pal, whatever. Show me your wrist, show me your forehead. You know, I'd be looking for the mark because I wouldn't let people get away with this stuff willy-nilly. Just print out your own credentials on a piece of paper. I'd be like, no, show me the ID. Come on. And bring, the mark of the beast kind of thing.
Well,
like,
luckily,
this is cool. Yeah.
Luckily, this is as far as it is yet. So if they want to try to verify and research and investigate names and trying to decipher doctor signatures and things like that, they're more than welcome. But it seems like a huge waste of time.
No, do you see the trap that they're setting for us? see the trap? I mean, we're just taking the bait, right? So this is the next step. It's like playing chess, right? It's like, okay, now it's your move. Oh, that's so clever. I thought you were going to open with the Portuguese Open, but no, you went with the, I would have never thought that. Wow, what a surprise. Oh, you went and printed out your own I've been vaccinated form. How clever. Damn it, sir. Good play. That was good form, sir. Good form.
Never thought of that coming.
Like, of course, this is what we do. This is what they expect us to do. It's that whole problem, reaction, solution. You know why? Because we don't keep coming to the final solution that we're supposed to go to, the natural conclusion, I should say. We just keep playing their game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. That's like me printing out something that says, I don't know, I'm a sovereign citizen. You can't arrest me. I don't need a license to drive, kind of bullshit.
Well, two separate things, but I think that.
All I'm saying is that if enough people are doing this, and I'm saying is if this is what they expect us to do, right? Then they'll say, you know what, we had to crack down, we had to go with tougher measures because there's too many people printing out. You know what I'm saying? Like we couldn't differentiate. Let's say we did it so accurately. Let's say we did it right and we executed it. We'll say, well, we have to come up with something better because they'll step it up. They'll come up with another excuse. You know, they'll actually release something else.
Mm-hmm. But isn't that what the dark web's for? I mean, well, the more they step up their authentication processes and making it harder to counterfeit, smart people are out there improving the counterfeits accordingly.
No, what I'm getting at is that I'm sorry, I should back up. I'm not trying to make fun of light of a situation. It's just that without laughing about some of this stuff and making comedy, it's really scary.
Mm-hmm.
Until you actually engage in guerrilla warfare type tactics, until it's like you have to allow for variable change with human beings. Until people start doing things that are so archaic and outside the box thinking, you know what I'm saying? That's how you actually win the war.
Got to throw them off their script. Yep.
You got to keep throwing off the script, and people can't do it in mass. They have to do it in different directions, so they can't. Even if they calculated it for it, it's so overwhelms them. It's kind of like this whole Reddit thing with the stock thing with GameStop and stuff like that. They didn't see that coming.
Well, I'm sure they did. What was that, Tencent or somebody that was doing business with all the... Yeah, somebody on the very front end of all this or on the very back end of all this is still making a shit ton of money and blaming it on Reddit.
I was going to say, no, but this is the thing. Yeah, there's something that I put up. I don't know if I put it up on my Facebook or not. I know you're on my Facebook. But people are saying how clever this is, and this is the power of the people, and this and that on Reddit. And then you come to find out the people that own Reddit and all, it's Chinese, So it's like, who's to say this wasn't planned by those people that really want to make a profit, but they're portraying themselves to be the people? It's like Bitcoin when everybody's like, oh yeah, it's a decentralized platform, it's this and that, blah, 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 blah. And it's secure and nobody will age. It's like, of course that's what you believe, because you're one of them. You're one of the agents. You're one of the people that are convincing people. You're dressed like a civilian. They do that. Like people forget about that. That's a whole variable change thing.
So you sound good.
They can even though that Bitcoin is supposedly decentralized and that they can still interfere with it with the ETF, ETFs and everything. So they have a mechanisms for actually interfering with it, even if they're not in there directly.
Yeah, just think of it this way. Just in the back of your head, think that there's an Alex Jones in every part of the world.
There certainly is. So, not that you sound bad, because you do sound good. It just sounds like you're not using the microphone that's on your headset. It sounds like you're using a different mic.
You're probably correct. Let me take a look. Funny on video settings. Thank you for telling me that, sir.
You're welcome, sir.
Awesome. So,
I still think it was an imposter on Tuesday's show.
Oh, that dropped that brain bomb and walked away.
Yeah.
You don't want me to go. You don't want to go to that.
You don't. Yeah.
You sound like Jonathan again. Tuesday, it didn't sound like you. I don't know what it was.
There might have been a little frequency interference that day.
But, I mean, it sounded like you, but it didn't sound like you at the same time. It sounded like drunk Jonathan, maybe. I don't know. Like how people.
I wouldn't say that per se.
No, I'm not saying you were drunk. I'm just saying. I've heard that before with alcoholics, because I've known a few alcoholics, and when they're drunk, you know, that was the way I normally heard them speak. They had like this twang in their voice and not so much a slur because they were used to talking like that. But when they weren't drunk, they sounded the same, but just different, like different. And you kind of sounded different. I'm not saying you're an alcoholic and you're always drunk all the time and that's how I'm used to hearing you. But no, your voice, it's the same voice, but it just sounded like it was almost coming from a different person. That's why I was like, is this Jonathan?
No, that second part would be more accurate, and I could drop. No, I can't do it today. I definitely can't drop into that. Like, you know, you can't. It was a rough night.
It's interesting you picked up on that, like the rest of us kind of did with our buddy Nuka Cola when he had the throat thing going on and was really swollen and had some issues with that. We've all gotten so used to hearing certain people certain ways on these conversations that any slight change, and we're all like, "Who is that? Is that you? Is this your CIA clone taking over? What's going on
just the
here?"
slightest change. It wasn't even a change in pitch or tone or anything. Just the way you were saying it. I was like, "This isn't Jonathan. Who is this guy?"
Interesting. How is this? Is this better on the microphone?
Yeah, there you are.
Yeah,
I think that's
you're not reverbed out. So
There we go.
Definitely there in the my. Wow.
It sounded like you were sitting on the toilet there for.
No.
You weren't Horace Sheeting us. Hey, speaking of, it's almost time for a break.
It certainly is. We should be hearing break music any minute now, if not underneath us as we're speaking. So
Before we hit that break, I would like to send a special little shout out to the grill master himself in chat, Mike Scott. Good morning, buddy.
Right on. Well, this is Josh, Walt, Zach, Lucas, and Jonathan hanging out with you this morning, and we'll be right back after these.
Extendivite is more than just a heart tonic. Do you have any of these symptoms? Night cramps in the hands and feet. Your arms and legs often go to sleep. On short walks, do your legs get aches and pains? Is your memory worse than it used to be? Ankles that swell late in the day? Has your blood pressure increased lately? If you answered yes to even one of these questions, you may have early warning signs of arterial blockages. Your body is saying that it is time to take Extendivite. These are not the normal signs of aging. They are the warning signs that accompany blocked arteries. Get your Extendivite today. Extendivite is available in capsule or liquid form for just $69.95 for a 2-month supply. To get started, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822.
And welcome back to this second segment of the first half of the Ironworx right here on Truth Frequency Radio. It's a full house this morning. That's what I like to see. TGIF. Shout out to everybody in chat, too. Full house there, full house here. It's going to be a good day.
Hey, Josh, can I say something real quick just so there's clarity? So I wasn't making fun or anything earlier before. What I was going to get to is, and I'm still waking up. I apologize. So this thing with Reddit, like I was starting to say, or things with the stock market, the way they're, manipulating this system right now, and for good measure. The problem I have is, you know how like the New World Order, they've been talking about the wealth transfer, and they even declared it openly, in the World Economic Forum, right? They put out that broadcast a couple months ago, and you saw like Prince Charles and everybody else discussing this. Okay, so what I'm saying is, like right now, what they're doing with Reddit, and now they're going to take supposedly the SLV, the silver, paper silver, and they want to bump that up all the way to 1,000. What I'm saying is they're creating all this stuff and trying to make it look organic, as if we're doing it, the civilian population, so that it's going to come to its natural conclusion, which is to collapse the entire economic system, which is what they want
put
anyway.
The price of silver up to $1,000.
They want to push silver from 25 on SLV, not actual physical silver, but yeah, SLV for what it's trading on, from 25 to 1,000.
Oh, so the monopoly money.
Well, they're kind of like with
they're
the
fake silver.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's it. The fake silver.
But here's the thing, though. I think if they do this, if they really screw up the stock market and they show that the emperor's got no clothes kind of thing, it's exactly what they've wanted to do anyway. Why? Because they have all this derivatives that they have that they can't. There's not enough liquidity or anything. There's not enough to cover those hedges on all those derivatives, right? So they never wanted to collapse that bubble. But if they go ahead and get rid of the stock market altogether, and they get rid of all the trading mechanisms and all that tied to the derivatives market, then they've just, they've done exactly that. And if they do that, if they get rid of the US dollar in the process, well, then it's a triple win for them, because now they can introduce the next thing they want to introduce.
The derivatives in like the quadrillions, aren't they?
That's what I'm saying. Right.
Yeah.
So imagine saying it's like having a deal in Confederate money. Yeah, I'll pay you $100,000 in Confederate money, whatever it is back in the day. Right after this war, you can collect on it. We're going to be multi-millionaires the world over. And then all of a sudden you find out, oh, wait a minute, it's not worth anything. Here, you can have my share too. It's kind of like, what if Bitcoin went in reverse? Like that when that guy bought those 10,000 Bitcoins for a pizza, for 2 pizzas. I think they were from Papa John's, and they were like both everything pizzas, Supremes. That guy's got to be like killing himself now, or kicking himself in the ass, saying, realizing I bought $300 million pizzas.
Well, yeah, Jaron knew a guy that bought a bag of pot.
For how much? How many Bitcoin?
Well, I think it was like maybe 1.5 or 2 Bitcoin, something like that.
Okay, but say it was 100. Imagine it was at the point where Bitcoin was only like 0.20 cents.
Well, yeah,
right?
but that's like a $50,000 bag of pot right now.
That's what I'm telling you. Like at the time, hey, check this out. I got this for these coins I got trading Pokemon cards. Ha 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 ha! Look at this. I got my pot, man. I'm so it's like, and then years later, it's like, oh, I could have bought like, oh wait, I wouldn't have to work anymore. I could have had a house. Oh, I could have had a pot.
Yeah, I see it just like the stock market. Yeah, people can't get rich doing this stuff, but people can lose their asses too.
Right, but what I'm saying is, if you look at this whole thing from the larger picture, you pull back in a perspective, kind of like the way Josh did right now with this forum. What I'm saying is, if you look at the whole thing, all of a sudden, all the pieces are like, just you see them in place so clearly. Oh, okay, I got it. Here's the part with the stock market. Oh, and okay, and of course, COVID. Of course, you're going to need this, that, and the other. Like they're just stepping when people used to say, "Oh, we're winning," kind of thing. We're defeating the New World Order. It's like, yeah, okay, you're defeating them using their tools. How about you drink and eat some of their food and tell us how we're winning the war? Why don't we use some of their blankets that are so comfy over here at Fort Sumter? It's like keep ourselves
I think
warm.
there is one way that would undermine the whole system, is that if people actually bought silver and the actual silver.
Yeah, no, that's right. No, you're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. That's the only way. Go ahead.
Yeah, when I was telling people to buy silver, I started doing this over a decade ago. back in '08, right after the crash. I was telling my boss, and he actually went and bought some of that paper stuff. He bought a few grand worth of that. And I was like, whoa, hold on, dude. I was like, no, go buy real silver, physical silver that you have in your possession.
I think we would have seen more pressure in the silver market if it wasn't for these cryptocurrencies as well. As soon as people started piling into these cryptocurrencies, and a lot of those guys were actually big into silver. So they have a lot of the same similar ideas behind them, but one's an actual physical, takes work to get it out of the ground, has a certain scarcity, all that sort of stuff. So compared to Bitcoin, which is what? Nothing. Honestly, behind it, a bit of electricity or, computer power, it's completely different from blood, sweat, and tears.
Well, it's the same thing as money, pretty much. Bitcoin and money are like the same thing. It's your placeholder for blood, sweat, and tears.
Can I tell you something? I will not purchase crypto, even though I've had opportunity ad nauseum to get in at all the right times from insider, whatever. But I refuse to because I don't want to play into this whole new world order, what I believe is like mark of the beast, next step thing. I've always said I will never, ever serve mammon. I will never sell out to these mechanisms. But like, yeah, but you could be rich. Like right now, there's people getting in on this GameStop thing. Like, oh yeah, why don't you get in on it? Go ahead. You can hear. You can have mine. You give me your Brussels sprouts, and I'll let you take my opportunity here. Go ahead. Well, but I just gave you guys some pictures of what I invested in, and that's called real money right there.
Well, yeah, I bought seeds. When the day after shit hits the fan, what's going to be worth more? That seed or that digital currency that no longer works because there's no electricity?
Turn the power back on, man. I got my stuff in there.
Yeah, I'll get my shot if you just turn the power on.
You know what it reminds me of? Remember the end of Trading Places when they lost on the stock floor? They're like, turn those things back on. Turn it back on. And then they're like, sorry, sir. We have to, end of the day, that's the rules. We have to collect on all those naked shorts.
But Mr. Duke, your brother, fuck him.
Yeah, fuck him. We don't have that kind of liquidity. But Duke's been sitting on this exchange since it's the foundation. Go ahead and seize all the assets of Mortimer and Mortimer. Put those seats up on I love that scene. Oh, that is a brilliant. If you really watch that movie, it is such a brilliant movie. And I think if I'm correct, I don't know if I think I'm wrong on this one. I take that back. I was going to say it was Aaron Russo had a hand in that. He did that movie Teachers before he did that documentary that he did. What's that movie? What's that documentary? Aaron Russo, the guy who talked to the Illuminati insiders, and then he was possibly murdered.
I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Get the name of it. But no, whoever wrote that Trading Places, I mean, they were really making a statement on which was basically essentially became the 80s. The whole me generation and that whole Wall Street, versus the man kind of thing.
Gordon Gekko rules.
To America.
What's that?
Coming to America, he gives them that bag of money in there.
Yeah. They had a cameo in that. Yeah, it was great. He's like, we're back. Absolutely. But no, that's the only thing I fear. Not fear. That's not the right word. That I see coming down the pike is that too many good people with good intentions are going to give way to false hope and false promise. And you know what I said to the woman yesterday? I was at the store. I was at Harbor Freight. And I said, I don't even believe in these masks. And she goes, yeah, I know. I said, the only reason, I said, amazing how the flu and everything else just doesn't exist, right? It's like, people getting sick now. It's just the flu, but they keep playing it up. It's COVID. I said, what needs to happen? She goes, what? I said, we need the real revolution. We need to start killing people. And she just looks at me. And I'm just like,
I'm sure she did.
Yeah, it sounded like, but I want to see her reaction. What did she say? Something about hope. She said something about hope, and I'm thinking to myself, you hope that they fix it. Like, you hope that the vaccine works. Or you hope that, like, really, lady, like, you're really sold on that whole thing. You mean hope and change? Like when Biden was in the office the first time for 8 years? That guy? That kind of hope?
Uh-huh.
But that's the sad thing. Like, people are such good people and gullible and naive to think that, Everything's just gonna. I love that mentality. Oh, just give it time. Everything's gonna work its way out. Everything will be hunky dory, back to normal.
Just waiting for the switch to flip.
Like you said, though, if they turn off,
me
they flip
too.
off the internet, we're doomed. We can't even talk to each other. How do you coordinate in that environment?
Well, we'll be discussing that this evening on Have No Sphere, where we are going to go over ham radios, CB radios, things like that. So I think there's going to be a way. I think we'll be able to. I think there will be people out there that will have the ability to communicate.
Okay, so it'll be, let's see, who will be existing in the apocalypse in the Mad Max world? Because that's where we're heading. It'll be us.
It's going to be a bunch of small communities.
Yeah, it'll be us.
Small, like-minded communities, kind of like what Baldini's wanting to do with Poppy Town. It's going to be like-minded individuals. I guess this lady from the 60s or 70s, early 70s, late 60s, wrote some book. It was like a prediction book about what was going to happen after the collapse. Yeah. And she said it's all going to be small, and everything will be based on trade.
Wait, would you call this place Poppy Town? Poppy? Like,
well, yeah, because they do Poppycock Report.
Oh.
So, and he's been actually, I think before Poppycock Report. Nah, maybe not before Poppycock started, but this has been something he's been putting out there. He wants to start, get 50, 60 acres, something like that, 100 acres.
Here's what I'm thinking. Being that we got Lucas as a friend of the show or part of the show now, right? What we should do is when the shit hits the fan, we get down to Australia and we open up a place called Bartertown.
Can I sit on your shoulders, Jonathan?
Sure, man.
Well, I've started.
Are you master and I'm blaster? Wait. That makes you a top and me a bottom? I don't know if I like that.
Oh, shit. It's all coming on me.
What's the reference, Lucas? What am I talking about?
Oh, I don't know. Sorry.
I'm making a Mad Max reference.
I haven't even seen them.
Beyond Thunderdome. Huh?
I loved her earrings. Those things look like they weighed like 10 pounds.
Man into one man leave.
Yeah, that's a great that's a great show. Great movie. That's so funny. I'm sorry, Lucas looks more like a Priscilla Queen of the Desert type. That's one of my favorite movies, by the way. I don't know if you ever saw that. Did you ever see that one?
No, I didn't see that one.
Oh, son of a gun.
I stay away from Australian movies, really.
Oh, do you really?
Oh, most of them are pretty horrible, let's face it.
That was a good one. You should see that one. It's called Priscilla Queen of the Desert. It's got Terrence Stamp in it. It's a great movie.
Yep.
Anywho.
Shout out to Alan Holman, who the super chat says he's optimistic. He doesn't think that the shit's going to hit the fan.
Right on.
I think when the shit hits the fan, it's not going to be like somebody down below throwing a pile of shit up at a high-speed fan where all of a sudden it just splatters everywhere. It's going to be a slow rise as that shit will start to touch the fan, and the fan's just going to slowly start to mix the shit. I think that it's not going to be one big thing. I think what we have here is your basic slow kill Holocaust, boiling frogs in a water type situation.
Well, that's what they want, really, isn't it? The way they want to play it out is to have that slowly controlled burn, in a sense.
Well, yeah, you don't want to wake up the giant that is the sleeping mob. That's the only thing I think these people fear is the cattle stampeding, because they can't control that. That's the one thing they can't control, and they know it. Just like the movie Ants, there's too many of us.
Yeah, but that's why they have these, what I call steam valve measures, right? The gatekeepers and stuff like that. And
well, yeah, George Floyd was a steam valve. 100%. We need to put attention somewhere else. Let's have this cop kill this guy on video and, make a big harumph about it. Because if you remember, right before George Floyd, there were a lot of protests at all the capitals about this mass stuff and shutting down businesses. Peaceful protests.
Well, if you remember a little further back, there were even bigger protests pretty much across the world before all this bullshit started with the masks in the first fucking place.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And now all these European countries, their leaders are all stepping down. Like the whole Italian government, something like that, stepped down. You know, Estonia, Merkel, there's just been all these different people that are being like just leaving office all of a sudden. It's not like
Down to the bunkers.
Yeah, well, it's not like their president was just changed over. You know, we're all on different schedules. when it comes
Real
to that.
quick, Dan Morris in chat says, but Zach, they can control it because they control the TV where the Stampede would get their first orders. So, yeah, there you go.
Oh, it's an interesting point.
Yeah, it's not like it used to be back in the day where they could definitely control. That's why I think it doesn't happen anymore. That and the fluoride. Because they have it down on a, I mean, they got this stuff down. The whole government mind control system.
Right.
They've been doing it for a while. But there have been giant mob riots, according to his story. You know, back in New York,
Oh, so
they had some crazy giant riots where they were burning, you know, houses and people living on Fifth Avenue, all the big ritzy mansions and stuff.
Maybe that's part of the outlet valve too, is letting those things happen to where it looks like we did it. We jumped the rope, you know, we pulled the riots in LA with Rodney King. We did this, that, and the other, so that all the others who are right at the edge of jumping go, okay, well, somebody did enough. We'll chill, and that lets it simmer down a little bit. Just like you say, the outlet valve to keep it from just blowing over that fan.
Yeah, you got to give them credit where it's due. Even though the stuff they do is wicked and horrible, it's pretty amazing at the same time. I never would have even known or even thought even to give it a try to control people the way that they do. That's just not in me. But it's really amazing how controllable, even myself, I'm sure, is. You know, just what we see and what we hear, and there's ways that they shape our minds. And I mean, they've got so many people still really duped. My whole family they're ostrich. That's what I see when I see my family. Most of them are a bunch of ostriches with their heads in the sand, waiting for the flood. So yeah, I give them credit, you know, and they're not dumb people. It's, you know,
You know what it is, and I just want to make clarity. It's not that I'm a pessimistic person. It's not. I'm very optimistic, and I believe in the power of humanity when we come together, right? When we persevere. But what I've seen, what I witnessed through this whole thing with the lead up to this current election, between people that were pro Biden or pro Trump, and all the people that went after Trump the entire time he was in office, that, you know, he couldn't do anything right according to some people's opinion. What it made me realize is, like, holy shit, I'm seeing families, I'm seeing friendships, I'm seeing so many things break up over two individuals that are in politics, of all things. Like, these aren't even people worth fighting over in that respect. And I'm thinking, if this is what society's like now, if it's this fractured, this polarized, you know, two segments of it and divided, then how the hell, you know, what's going to happen when the crap really hits the fan? Like, where's going to be that unity where it's us versus them kind of, you know what I mean? And when you say them, the people that are doing it to their own kind are kind of protecting themselves from the masses of sheep that will possibly stampede, right? Like, it's like having a fire in a theater. If everybody goes out in an orderly fashion, those exit doors that were designed at the end of the theaters would work, right? Proper. But if everybody acts like a moron and the first one falls, like running into Walmart for a $10 toaster for $6 on Black Friday, And then everybody just, everybody dies in the friggin' fire, right? Well, guess what? I'm afraid of those same people, that lower mentality that don't know how to file out in a good order. Okay? And
that's the only thing I really fear is.
Yeah, but I'm saying that they've based this on calculated odds based on numbers, right? They've based this on it's not about ethics and morals when the New World Order says, it's us versus them. No, they've realized that en masse, right? Even a corporation, even a business, at its inception, everything's a good idea. But as it grows and it becomes unmanageable, it becomes a whole different thing. It's like, imagine if the Death Star, right? Let's go to a Star Wars reference. If they had things like HR and sexual harassment and unions and rights and, who wants what, diversity, all this other stuff, which in and of itself in a healthy society, it's great. Okay, there's value to it. But when you just clone, it's so much easier just to homogenize your base and say, okay, we're just going to use clones because they don't argue, they don't fight back, right? And they don't ask for a break and they don't organize a union. Kind of thing, right? It's kind of like China, right? So the friggin' Death Star was built by the Chinese, obviously. Do you see what I'm saying? But no, not once Disney got involved. Then it was all about diversity. Then you had this uppity dude who takes off his helmet and says, "I'm not a German white Nazi. Hell no, I'm a black dude who's like Will Smith." I worked in maintenance, but all of a sudden I can control the storm. I can fly this thing. You know what I'm saying? That was the most ridiculous. Did you know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's the thing. Huh?
You said something about as soon as you said takes his helmet off and you see his hair, I was like, wait a minute. Did you hear about the military's the Army's new restrictions for haircuts?
No.
You cannot have cornrows in the Army.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, there's a good example. But here's my point. When Disney came out with that real quick, it was so liberal. It was so diverse. It was so, and it was like Obama was coming in at the time, I think, when that came out. That was the whole push. Or no, this is right before Hillary came in. Hillary was supposed to win, right? Trump was like the wild card. He was the Trump card for whatever they were doing next. And what they had is there's a scene where it's a takeaway and it pans out and here's like the leader, Princess Leia, and all this diversity of all these different aliens and all these people of a multicultural mix right behind her. Do you remember that scene right before they went to war? You know what I'm talking about? And here's the interesting thing.
I kind of had
the
lost
blue
the
versus
thread.
the red. You had the red, which was the Han Solo's son with the big red lightsaber, and it's like a cross. And then you had blue, and of course blue won. And it was like so political. I was at the time. I talked about it on Mark's show back when Mark Sargent, and people got so mad at me saying, "How dare you say that?" It's like I always remember the SS, the stormtrooper, as being white, Aryan-looking Nazi mother effers, right? Even their gray uniforms, the officers was based on Nazis. You looked at the first Star Wars; it was all Nazi-esque.
Oh yeah, and they were all British as well.
Right,
and that's
the appropriate role. You can't say, well, we have to give artistic license, and now we can't restrict anybody from being an actor. It's like, no, that's the role. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I don't get it.
Well, yeah, it's like playing me as Othello. It doesn't work.
Yeah, that's like me. Yeah.
He pulled it off.
Right.
But, I couldn't do blackface.
Just like, yeah, exactly. Just like I can't play Joan of Arc. I don't care what gender I assign. Here I come. It's me, Joan of Arc. What the frig? Bro, like if I was a transvestite, no offense to transvestites, there's some beautiful ones out there or whatnot, trans and all that. But it's like I wouldn't be like this cute, dainty looking, like sexy woman. No, I'd be like John Lithgow in like The World According to Garp. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
I'm far
from followed that movie in years.
Hey, no, I just did this because I had to spin it in the direction of
Justin Hoffman and Tootsie.
No, see, he was decent looking broad though.
We are rolling up on break.
No. He passed for a woman though, and you know what? He had that persona that like she got sad at the end. She goes, "I feel like my best friend is gone." It's like, yeah, Tootsie was pretty cool. She had moxie, that chick.
Well, we are rolling up on a break here.
We are.
Yes, we are, sir.
Don't make sure you don't put that in the description, Walt. Jonathan starts talking about.
No, yes, sir. Wait till I'm going to find some good pictures of Lithgow, and I'm going to superimpose you over them.
Jonathan's favorite movie, Tootsie.
Hey, on that note, I got to run, guys.
You
Hey,
ass.
all I'm going to say to the beautiful audience out there is stay flat.
Look at this dude.
Nice. Have a good one, man.
All right, man.
Be good, Jonathan.
Yeah, you see that?
See ya.
Baby.
All right, we'll be right back. It's Ironworx. Say bye to Jonathan.
Hi.
Bye, Jonathan.
My name is Ella, and I'm 10 years old.
Wherever you are, make it Truth Frequency Radio.
Good morning. I'm here. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up!
What is dark matter? Okay, we don't know.
That's great. That's why it's called dark.
Exactly.
Everyone knows all reputable information comes from random people on the internet. Nobody thinks internet. The earth is flat. It's like school. You can.
Dark matter is something we do not know what it is. We believe the dark matter is there, but we have never detected it. Well, we're afraid of course, there is no dark matter out there. So what? There is no dark matter out there. We need to think real harder, think real harder, think real harder, think real harder.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
I'm Neil deGrasse Tyson, bitch.
I like the way he talks.
And welcome back to the second half of the Ironworks right here on Truth Frequency Radio. Josh, Walt, Zach, and Lucas hanging out with you. Jonathan from Jersey stopping by last hour. Always a good time. Things to ponder.
I agree with Steven. I think Neil has put on like 20 years in the last 5 or 6 since this whole flat earth thing started. Neil is looking rougher and rougher every day, it seems.
He definitely is.
Observation, Steven.
What was that last thing he was talking about? A cat translation app in chat. Let me see what this is.
I've seen those.
Apparently there's an app you can translate what your cat says. Did I miss a fucking memo? I thought we were trying to talk to the dolphins, and that didn't work out. When did we start talking to the cat?
I've seen one for dogs, too.
Please explain this to me, people. I am really off the page here. What are we doing?
The app is called Meow Talk.
I see that it is, and I'm really thinking this is like a routine y'all are doing, right? This is a skit y'all worked out together. This can't be real.
Alan said he was petting his cat, and it was purring, and he had the app out, and all of a sudden the cat meowed, and it said, the app told Alan that the cat said, I want to go to sleep. Let me go to sleep. So he stopped petting her, and she went and laid down and closed her eyes and went to sleep. So
I reckon a mailman needs the dog one for sure.
So here's something interesting. Have you guys ever seen cats interact like with each other? Cats don't meow. That's not how they communicate, right? You never see two
when
cats.
humans are around.
That's right, because that's the only time cats meow is because they're communicating with a human. They don't meow when they communicate with each other. So the meows are really just them talking to us or trying to mimic making noises with their mouths the way that we make noises with our. I don't suppose it's necessarily beyond the pale that they could.
My cat used to talk to me all the time. I called her, she was Sweetness, and I always called her baby girl. And I'd be like, how you doing, baby girl? Meow. Oh, yeah? Well, you want to go play outside? Meow. Yeah, did you have a good night? Did you sleep well? Meow, meow, meow. Yeah, and I would just sit there and talk to her, and she would always answer back. It was crazy. But you're right, cats do not meow at each other. Now they'll do the, that kind of stuff, but they don't do the meow. No, they don't do that to each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird.
And purring, I think, is really interesting too. If you are not feeling well, they will come and lay on you and purr. When they're not feeling well, they will purr. It's a frequency. It's a healing frequency that they use when they purr. It's really interesting.
My cousin's cat, when I wasn't feeling well, he'd come and jump and lay on my chest and start like pawing me. He didn't have the front claws, so it didn't hurt. But like how they would do that with their claws, like just sit there and stick their claws out, but not really pull on them.
Mm-hmm.
And he would just sit there and do that to me and purr.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I didn't feel good, he'd jump up on my chest and do that. Yeah, Leo, he was huge. He was enormous. He lived to be like 21 years old or something crazy like that. He was an old cat. And he would kill squirrels and bring them up on the porch, the back porch, and leave them there on the deck. Yeah, he was wild. He'd be gone for 4 or 5 days at a time.
Now, I've heard that's because cats...
Cat.
Go ahead, Lucas.
Yeah, I had a cat that did that too. Yeah, it would leave for 3 or 4 days and then just come back when it was ready. It was sort of go for a little trundle.
See, I had a cat that used to bring me little presents too. And I always heard, that's just the cat trying to provide for everybody, doing its part. I've also heard that it's because the cat doesn't think you're capable of providing for yourself. So it's doing it for you because you are incapable. So I don't know. But yeah, I've had my yard littered with little guts and skulls. Whatever bits and pieces the cat didn't really like, I guess.
Well, think about it from their perspective. We have no claws. They never see us go down and attack anything and grab it and take it out and eat it like they do. So yeah, I'm sure they think we were like completely starved out.
Cats are pretty awesome. But scientists will tell you they don't have a soul or a consciousness or anything like that. I don't buy that one for 1 second. So, so they found a planet, right?
Did they?
Yeah. And this isn't the first one. They found, as I was looking through, the lettuce, there's so much lettuce on this. I found it all the way back to 2012, I think.
Well, if you're talking about finding a planet, what, an extra planet in the solar system, or is this an exoplanet?
No. It's an exoplanet. Well, it's a planet around another star, but it's a giant gas planet. And they found many of these, supposedly. Guess how many light years away?
237 million.
No, that's a lot. That's a lot of light years. I mean, it's a lot of light years when you think about light years, but 600 light years away. 600 light years. And they're claiming that they know that this gas giant, like Jupiter, has no clouds. How does a gas not have a cloud?
Clouds. It is a cloud.
Right, yeah. Isn't that all it is? Isn't it just a big round cloud? It's literally what a gas giant is?
Oh, but it's so funny when they talk about how they can tell you what's in the atmosphere and this and that and yada, yada, yada. Now you got to remember, folks, they openly tell you we don't know what's on the bottom of the ocean. This is why they know more about space than they do our own ocean, is because they just make the shit up. That's it. There is nothing 600 light years away, that you could see. Okay, say that there is their system and there is that star out there that's 600. This thing is about the same size as Jupiter, they tell us. Okay, this planet. Now, seeing the star itself would be it's not easy. It's out there. But seeing a body going around that star is impossible. Now, telling me what the atmosphere is on that body going around that star, let's just make it a 20-body equation. Not the 3-body equation they can't do. This is like a 20-body equation they're trying to do and telling us that they're doing. It's so ridiculous.
Zach, you don't understand. They saw a pixel move in front of another pixel. Dude, come on. It's fucking science.
They're saying it's made of this gas and that gas, and we can tell because when it passes in front of the star, we see through it. And I guess if we were on the outside of Jupiter, we would see through Jupiter to the sun. Is kind of what they're saying. Like you see through these gas giants. That was a new one to me. I never heard that before, but apparently they can. Yeah, it's just so nonsensical. And I feel so dumb because I would have believed this stuff 7 years ago.
And especially because, a gas giant in a vacuum. I mean, honestly.
And then there was another article about something about the Earth core, telling us that the crust is 1,200 miles thick and this and that and yada, 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 and it gets denser and this and that as it goes down. And I just think of that borehole. And I'll bring him up again. I've been listening to a lot of David Weiss interviews as I'm working on the kitchen. I think I listened to 3 of them yesterday. You can't find them on YouTube. It's like searching Flat Earth anymore. Even if you use his name or his channel or any of that stuff. I mean, it's all in the title. But if you search that for today or the last week, you get a bunch of crap. And none of it is about Flat Earth or about David Weiss. None of it. So go to DITRH and go into his playlist. And there are a lot of playlists, and it's kind of way down there. But instead of looking at the names of the playlists, I mean, check out the playlist. They're awesome. But it'll have a number of how many videos are in each playlist. And there's only a couple that have over 100, and it's one of those. I think there was 127 interviews as of yesterday. Like over the last week, he added 20 of them. It's just insane. You'll hear it. He'll be ending an interview, and they'll be like, all right, thanks, man. I know you got to run to go do another interview. Thanks for your time, this and that. So, yeah, he's just been knocking it out of the park lately. But he'll say, yeah, it's like, okay, so you have an apple. All right. Now you've gone halfway through the peel of the apple, drilling into it. Now you were wrong drilling into this apple, just halfway through the peel the whole time, drilling into it, thinking what's going to be next. And now all of a sudden you want to tell me that you can cut this apple in half and tell me what's in the center. By not even breaking through the peel yet. You're not even close to getting through that peel. And you were wrong the whole time drilling into it about what you were going to hit next. But yet they want to tell you, how thick the crust is, and the mantle, and the core, and inner core, and outer core, all this nonsense. It's a story, folks. It's just a story. Narnia is just as real. I'm sorry, I'm talking a lot.
Do it.
Rant over.
And the core's supposed to be heated and magnetic at the same time, so it's supposed to be liquid metal and magnetic.
Well, it's because it's spinning, you see.
Not worry about that Curie temperature, man. Come on.
But it spins, you see. It spins so fast, it brings the magnetism back.
Science. Come on.
Science.
Science, bro.
I should know better. Yeah.
Just trust the
Yes, science!
We put it out, our buddy, line producer, Alan Holman, another super chat there for us in chat, and it says, I challenge someone to donate $6 this segment. Well, thank you for that, Alan. That would be awesome. Appreciate the other as well, sir.
Getting paid by the line producer. Love you, Alan. Good stuff, man. So I'm getting
Yes, sir. I'm still just trying to wrap my head around the Talking Cat app. I'm just flabbergasted. I'm doing research, truly, on the air. I apologize for my lack of taking any of the weight off your shoulders there, Zach, and making you do all the talking. I'm sorry. But I'm really trying to figure out where they just developed this and who the hell is...
Have you got cats?
I've had many cats through my life, and I communicated with them quite adequately without the need for an app. So I don't understand this. I really want to challenge this. I'm looking at the reviews right now and seeing like kind of a hit and miss ratio on that right off the bat. But I want to dig into who created this and find out more about it. Sorry, I didn't mean to
wonder
get
if you could upload it to Sophia. Get her chatting with the cat.
She's coming, so that would be awesome. Have those guys chase each other around the yard. When you were talking about the app before, when I saw the app, it reminded me of one I saw this week. It's that plant identifier app that's out there right now, but someone was showing how you can use it and look at a stump of a tree, and it counts the rings of the stump and tells you how old that tree was before it was chopped down. So I'm saying let's strap that to a drone, get it up above Devil's Tower, and figure out how old it is.
Nice. Or see if you can even tell the difference.
I've seen the ring pattern from the sky up there. I've just never seen it counted. So, and then there's look at this! Shout out Dan Morris has achieved your challenge, Alan Holman, with a $3 tip. He says,
Thanks so
Thank
much,
you,
Dan. That's awesome.
Truly, brother, appreciate that.
And because I'm nice and lazy, and we're talking about cats, and I can do it, we're going to do this right now. If it'll play.
Revise Schrodinger's cat experiment challenges reality.
Oh, no. I could do better than that. I've got software that does better AI voices than that. I'll just go ahead and read it. That was gross. Anyway, the revised Schrodinger's cat experiment challenges reality. Didn't the first Schrodinger's cat experiment challenge reality?
So that was kind of the point of it.
That's what I thought. Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, you would think so.
Because I'm not very smart, and sometimes I get things confused. So maybe I was mixing it up with the double slit experiment. I don't know. Maybe, I'm not very smart. Anyway, it says here, quantum mechanics has produced its share of weird ideas, not least of which is probably the world's most famous thought experiment devised by physicist Erwin Schrödinger in 1935. It described the uncertain fate of a cat trapped in a box with a deadly substance. Now, the experiment got an update from two physicists, leading to conclusions that threatened to undermine the foundations of the whole field. By replacing the cat in the box with multiple physicists doing experiments, the duo of Daniela Frauchiger and Renato Renner of the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology in Zurich has caused heated debates among physicists for the past 2 years. Schrodinger's original idea proposed that if you put a cat in a box along with a possibly decaying radioactive substance which would release a killer acid, the cat could both be alive and dead until that box was opened, fixating its state. Schrödinger devised this scenario to point to inconsistencies in the so-called Copenhagen interpretation of quantum mechanics created by Niels Bohr and Werner Heisenberg in the 1920s. The interpretation states that the quantum particle can exist in all possible states until an observer forces what's called the wave function collapse, making the particle choose one probable state. Unfortunately, as Schrödinger showed, the theory may work on the quantum level, but when applied to larger objects like cats, it becomes somewhat ridiculous and impossible. The cat cannot be both alive and dead. Oh, man. Okay, good. I see most of this page is not the article, so that makes me happy. This is not good. Where was I? Okay, still, the Copenhagen interpretation has persisted, in part due to saying that while quantum objects may exist in uncertain states, experimental observation can give certain results, and that certainty which is the new thought experiment has attacked. It is that certainty which the new thought experiment has attacked. Okay, that makes sense. The conceptual experiment by the scientists from Zurich involves putting two physicist cats into boxes. Jesus. One cat would toss a coin and, using its knowledge of quantum physics, send a message to the other cat. Jesus. That second cat, in its turn, would also employ a quantum theory, but to detect the message from the other cat and guess the coin toss. If two outside observers were to open these boxes, they would sometimes be able to guess with certainty how the coin landed, but on occasion, their conclusions would not agree. What the fuck am I reading?
Did somebody write this with that cat out, maybe?
I think so. I think this was definitely written by a cat and interpreted via the cat app. Jesus.
Well.
Well. I mean, there's a few more sentences here, but I don't know that I even want to bother continuing.
Just gas giants in vacuums. That's all that is.
Well, we talked about this. Man, that was not Wednesday, was it? That was probably last Friday after we got off the show. We were talking with Bob, maybe, about the slit experiment and how, even though I studied physics in school and in college, and he studied physics in school and in college, and Zach's had some exposure to those things as well, and John on our team. I don't think you were there at that point, Lucas. You may have already had to hit the hay, but no one remembers this experiment being explained to them in physics. The only time we remember this experiment being explained to us was by a cartoon character named Captain Quantum in a movie called What the Bleep Do We Know, that had a lot of really interesting things, but a lot of agenda hidden in it as well. I don't know. Did you ever hear of this before that movie, Lucas?
No. It was sort of one of those things that got brought up sort of as I was going through the flat earth stuff, really.
Exactly. A lot of people found it then, but I had found the movie. When the movie came out, it hit me because it was a lot of the experimental, esoteric, spiritual things I was all about. A lot of it. A lot of it I still am about, but a lot of it I question highly, since my time with Flat Earth. So it's just interesting that really no one had been exposed to this experiment that supposedly is a tenet of physics until that movie came out. So I don't know, just kind of suspect again. If they're pushing it, it must be suspect at the very least, if not completely upside down and backwards.
Oh, for sure. Yep. And even that Schrodinger's cat sort of thing is just, it's just a mind game, really. In the end, it's got nothing to do with reality. I mean, the cat's either alive or dead. You open the box up and have a look. So it's just one of those thought experiments to sort of, almost seems like it knocks people off balance, just with those sort of, the way that they present that sort of thought.
For some reason, I can remember, and I think there's a lot of people that do this. I think I've seen maybe a Seinfeld episode about it. I'm sure it's been covered. It's nothing new. That there's something inherent in people that understand this concept. Like if you apply to a college that you really want to get into and you get a letter in the mail and you're holding that envelope, as if there's something in your reality that's going to affect what's in that envelope. Maybe it's a acceptance letter, but I'm going to go fuck somebody over, or I overslept that day, or for whatever reason now it's, when I open it, it's going to be a rejection letter. There's always been that thought, maybe it's just me, but that thought in my mind, even through Christmas, one of the supervisors at work just kind of walked around and gave people little scratch-off lotto tickets. Maybe it was a winner, maybe it was a loser, but he left before I could say thank you. And I didn't want to scratch it until I had been, until I feel like I had shown enough gratitude for having been given a gift. So I just wanted to, I waited like 2 days before I could track him down and I could stop him and look him in the eye and just say, I wanted to say thank you for the little lotto ticket. I really appreciate it. And then I went back and scratched it off and won absolutely nothing. But it was the idea that, even doing it in a different kind of spirit would have an outcome on what would happen when I scratched it off. I don't know.
Well, when you put it like that, that makes sort of sense, because I used to do the same thing, and it was quite strange, really. But when I was a child, I basically, if I had a really shit morning, I would say, well, the end of the day is going to be awesome, and the vice versa. And it seemed to work, but it was just, could have been just my mind as well. But it was the same sort of idea. If something, there's that balance of, karmic balance or something like that.
Yeah, an unconnected causality that shouldn't make any sense, but for some reason, I've always thought like that.
Well, that is kind of one of the tenets of many belief systems, is you go towards anything you're trying to achieve or ask the universe for, or your higher self or your creator or whatever you're doing. You approach that with the gratitude that it's already been dealt with and you got it in hand and it's already a done deal, Wow.
Wow, that was a fast segment.
That's a joke. That's not really break music.
That's not me. That's break music. I'll be damned.
Okay, cool.
Sweet. Well, stick around and we'll be back for the fourth and final segment of the Ironworx on Truth Frequency Radio right after this.
Discover the extraordinary powers of intuitive healing with pain transmutation, a method of holistic healing for the
Little boxes on the hillside, little boxes made of ticky-tack, little boxes on the hillside, little boxes all the same. There's a green one and a pink one and a blue one and a yellow one. They're all made out of ticky-tacky, they all look just the same. And the people in the houses all went to the university where they were put in boxes and they came out all the same. And there's doctors and there's lawyers and business executives, and they're all made out of ticky-tacky, they all look just the same. And they all play on the golf course and drink their martinis dry. They all have pretty children. The children go to school, and the children go to summer camp, and then to the university where they are put in boxes. They come out all the same. And the boys go into business and marry and raise a family in boxes made of ticky-tacky. They all look just the same. There's a green one and a pink one and a blue one and a yellow one. They're all made out of ticky-tacky. They all look just the same.
Here's a message of importance to millions of people who are continually pale and washed out, weak and run down. Doctors will tell you that these conditions are often caused by a deficiency of iron. The iron you need to keep you physically fit and mentally alert. Medical studies show that 2 out of 3 women body can easily use and put to work. Every dose gives you more than your daily minimum iron requirement.
Noise. We are the way. We are the way. We are not alone. We are striving for more.
So if you're not getting the iron your body needs, if you feel weak, run down, and are easily upset, start taking today.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
No, not for me, okay?
Not for me, okay?
For you. I love it.
Not for me, okay?
And welcome back for the final segment of the Ironworx right
I
now.
was waiting. Thought there may be more. I was eagerly waiting for more.
Are you kidding? I can do this for the next 27 minutes and be perfectly happy.
Right. Full segment of sound blips. We keep threatening to do a music show too one day. I guess when we finally decide we're not going to worry about any more YouTube channel, we'll just go out and play the glory. Hey, we'll play that song even. We're trying. Thank you all in chat. It's been a great morning. I don't want to miss anybody, so I'm not going to run the list now, but I will try to shout out some folks we are missing. Someone requested we shout Pav out. Man, we miss you, Pav. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. It's been a minute, friend. I've been reading a book our buddy Clayton sent to me as well, and I've noticed he hasn't been around of late a minute, so definitely enjoying the book. It's called NPC. The author's name is completely escaping me at the moment, but the book has actually been quite enjoyable and an interesting take on the whole concept of non-playing characters in the world around us. I could see this being made into one of those Netflixy, streamy type shows that would maybe open some people's eyes up, and also have the whole titillating, adventure-y, mystery type thing that would keep people intrigued. So I haven't finished it, so it could wind up being a bad ending or a bad ride the rest of the way through, but definitely the first half so far has been really enjoyable. So again, thank you for that, Clayton, if you're listening. Our buddy Daz, DC, we miss you too. Sorry about the run in here recently. But you're loved and missed here as always, friend, without a doubt. Without a doubt. And the forgotten one himself. Where the hell you been, Brian? You send me some raid requests every now and again, and so far we've made a couple of those work out, but definitely miss having you around here, my buddy. Of course, we don't hang out on Twitter like we used to either. None of us, I don't think, on the Iron Rim team are hardly there anymore. Every now and again, I'll go in there and retweet and share a few interesting things, but where it used to be all of our time was spent there, hardly any of it is there now. So, and Robert has just become part of that little group we have, Robert Page, on Twitter. So glad to have you there, friend. Just wish we were spending more time there. I guess we'll have to make a point of doing that.
Can I say I got my magnets yesterday?
Nice.
100 neodymium magnets. Just got to figure out how to get a little protective coating on them that's not going to hinder the magnetic field, so I can...
Just saran wrap, I think, would work.
Think saran wrap would be all right? Not going to let it seep out into the dirt or anything?
Yeah, I think that would be good.
I wonder, would that work?
I know that's what Ken Wheeler did with his.
Just the saran wrap, nothing got in? Because, I mean, I don't know how much you want to invest in this, but they do have the little, like, kitchen seal-a-meal little vacuum things that would completely enclose it, and there would be no air getting in or liquid getting in, or just a thought. Again, I don't know.
Shrink wrap, a little bit of heat,
Some shrink wrap stuff. Yeah, that would work. A little hair dryer.
Yep. That's what I'm thinking.
That would work. You know, just something I mean, the saran wrap would probably work, I guess, if you wrapped it enough times. It would just seem like it would eventually get in there through all the folds. Water is tenacious.
I've been thinking about what's going on with the magnets and the plants, and why the south end facing up is, important. Our plane is like at the center is a south facing magnet. That's why the north end of our compass points towards it, because they're opposite and they're attracting. So the south end of the magnet, all the energy is like rushing into it, whereas the north, all the energy is rushing out of it. So by you putting a south end of a magnet underneath your plant, it's grabbing that source from the one where everything comes from, and it's like vortexing it right into that plant. Anything right above that magnet, just like our North Pole is just, well, we don't know what's going on up there because we can't go there, but the way magnets work, all that energy, that magnetic energy, is rushing into the North Pole.
What if I surrounded it with north-facing magnets, but with a south-facing magnet in the center?
I don't know.
Speaking of that idea, I have dug, since we talked about it a few times, trying to find that video of the guy forcing the magnets together against themselves, with the polarities facing, trying to force each other apart, but using that energy to create basically like a Faraday force field around himself in a belt setup that he wore all the time, and showed with a EMF meter that inside it completely was different than outside it, his little field. It doesn't exist. I cannot find it.
Well,
I would probably literally have to go back through 5 years of history.
I'd probably sleep in one of those fields. With I've got both those, I got 3 of those things, a 100-pounder and 2 200-pounders in my room.
That you've got already forced together. It's you're probably not even on the radar anymore.
Well, there was that
little blank stealth blob on their map.
There was that patent from Tesla's most used patent, the compression engine, where you're compressing things. And for some reason, I was looking at that, and that's what first popped into my brain, was the forcing of 2 magnets together and the compression of the magnetic fields as you force them together. And if there might be some way to maybe harness that compression in a similar...
Wow, that's an idea. There's a lot of force in there.
Yeah, a lot of force in there.
That's constantly being applied.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's an idea. What if you had like a cylinder where the 2 magnets are forced together, and then the cylinder allows them to push out? I don't know if they'd come back in. Maybe you'd need some on the other side. I don't know. That's an idea, though. An engine where you got the compression off of magnets that were forced together.
I like it.
So once you got it rolling, this magnet, pushes, and the crankshaft goes this way, while the other one's pulling and then pushing and I bet you could figure something out like that.
I like it.
Because there's a lot of force. I was thinking about weighing them separately.
Right, and then force them together and see what it looks like.
Well, I already forced them together, so weighing them now and then taking them apart.
Take them apart.
And weigh them again. Yeah, and see what happens.
I was looking at magnets yesterday, but they were just like tiny amounts for really expensive. And I was like, there's no point in doing that when I know I can get a handful for barely anything.
I got 100. They're 1/2-inch magnets by 4 mils. I forget exactly what the depth is. But they're decent little magnets. I got 100 of them for $25.
What strength?
Yeah, that's cheap.
Drop that link again for everybody in chat when you get a minute, sir.
I certainly will.
Were those ceramic or neodymium?
Oh, they're the bad boys. Yeah.
Nice. What gauge? Were they N52s?
I believe so. Because there was a whole conversation about them there in this Iron Scouts Twitter room that's being discussed in the chat.
Right. I was going to mention that too, Josh. Thank you. As I said earlier, we all kind of started out there on Twitter. In fact, that is where this all began, as a bunch of Twitter groups that became family. And unfortunately, we just don't spend time there like we used to, because they turned it into a whole different platform than it was when we were first on it, kind of like with all these places where truth is trying to be spread. Anyway, at FaceBones777. FaceBones777 is me on Twitter. So if you are on Twitter and you're a listener and want to hang out with us there, I do, like I said, I go there probably at least once or twice a day looking at messages and posting interesting things I do find and stuff. So while I don't spend 24/7 there like I did in the early days, definitely we're there, or I'm there. So find us. Lucas is going to be popping in. We'll get him in there soon. So a bunch of the scouts, that's where they hang. So, but
that might be a reason to actually go on Twitter.
That's what I'm thinking. It might encourage us all to kind of get back in there and maybe take it back over from Jack. I mean, you know, that dude looks rough last time I saw him in a video. Oh, Jackie boy. But it's always a good place that when we know we need to get some info to someone, look, there we go. We support each other there in the chat. So that's the deal. If somebody needs something, they know that's the place to go, and everybody will see it at some point that week. Rob says he is at Rob Dog, the top dog, on Twitter, if anybody wants to hang out with Robert Page. I love that. That's awesome. I'm actually floating around on there under another guy's, but that was on my tablet that I no longer use. So, but at Flat Earth Ed, Obvi. I don't know if it's even, it may have gotten killed off since it's been so unused over the last 2 or 3 years. What? Alan Holman throwing a last minute super chat saying, anyone get those last minute donations in today. And while, it, you know, we're not ever ones to, I mean, you know, we'll tell you guys we're at Patreon and we appreciate the hell out of the super chats. We just want you to know it is not frivolously spent or used. It's part of the reason you're actually seeing us on YouTube right now, or if you're watching us on DLive or Twitch or Facebook or Twitter, if I called them all out. I think I have. Yeah. If you're watching us there, it's because of kind donations from you guys. Truly, that's what we do with it. It helped me with a couple of pieces of my computer build. It helped me with, or it helped us, not me, but us get this Restream thing going. So we appreciate it, and truly, it goes back to you guys. Thank y'all, truly.
Apps.
Sorry, I got lost in chat again. I'll stop.
We got about 10 minutes left.
So,
Andy, there's a bunch of space lettuce and stuff like that out there. It switched back on.
I noticed yesterday.
Yeah, I have like 20 articles about space now.
Like I was watching a guitar pedal review, a guitar power conditioner review, trying to find the one I need. And it went from the guitar-oriented crap I had watched like 3 videos in a row of, clicking to them. Then I walked out of the room, and when I came back, it was on the live NASA feed of the big silver penis rocket that they have up there now, whatever it is, SpaceX, I'm sorry. And Michelle walked in, and she's like, what the hell is that? Is this a movie? And I'm like, right. It looks like something from a 1950s movie, doesn't it?
SpaceX cockaballs.
That's where you need like Austin Powers, you know. What is that? Yeah.
Right?
That was gold, yeah.
Wiener.
Oh,
Get your big wieners. Yeah, that was great.
Thank you, Tommy, that flat fellow in chat, giving us the dark sunglasses for the bright future we're all looking at. And Liz, the Iron Maiden, throwing a super chat as well with some very sweet hearts. Thank you, because you are a sweetheart. Our Iron Maiden.
The one that got me with the rocket is like when they take off and then you have the dust cloud, but it doesn't move. You know, it's just like it's at the start. It doesn't get blown away. Nothing happens. It's like, right.
Yeah, David did a great video on it already. Like the day it happened, I think there was 13 takes, and the thing wasn't like going for 30 seconds. But it showed 13 different camera views and angles.
Right. How many different colors of sky and
yeah.
Right.
It's such a joke.
Tommy, that flat fellow sneaking in another super chat glasses for us right there at the last second. Thank you, brother. Tommy's going to be on here with us.
Out, yeah. The 19th. Sorry about that, Walt.
No, you had it. You had it because the date was gone. I was thinking, good Lord, it's not the 12th. When is it? So thank you.
Shout out to Nemo. Just popped into chat too. Good to see you there.
What, Nemo? What's up, Nemo? Good morning, brother.
Yeah, was thinking about moving up to the Kakalaki area, the Carolina Mountains. I think he was looking in NC, though, up a little bit north. But yeah, I got to meet Nemo at Flattoberfest. It was cool. Good times.
For you?
Oh, yeah, good times for me.
For you.
Good times for all.
Good times for all.
Yeah, and they're getting ready to have another meetup in Georgia. I think it's Athens, Georgia. Don't quote me on that. But March 23rd on the equinox, I believe.
Oh, probably. So it's probably going to be right there at the Georgia Guidestones in Athens, Georgia.
Yeah.
If not, then what a missed opportunity.
But yeah, that's going to be coming up here real soon. So, and I don't think it's like, I'm not sure if it's tickets. I don't think it is. I think it's just a big meetup, but don't quote me on that either. I don't think they're going to have like speakers in a presentation.
Tommy's saying Roundtoberfest is canceled once again.
But yeah, I'm sure check out Unveiling This Realm or Strange World with Mark Sargent on Tuesday nights. Karen B's always on, she's part of both those shows, and I'm sure she'll be happy to give out all the details and everything. I just can't remember all of it right now, but I know it's happening. Yeah, those meetups are it's great. That's why it would be such a great thing to have like a permanent meetup, a little town of like-minded people.
I thought that too, and then I look back to interesting little people that had those same thoughts in the past. I'm looking at you, Ruby Ridge, and other places I won't mention. What? Shout out Dan Morris. All right, last one. Thank you all, he says, for his super chat.
I'm truly humbled by you guys. Thank you so much. That is amazing.
No doubt. Ridiculously beyond and above. And look, there's Clayton. Good morning, sir. I mentioned you earlier. I don't know if I summoned you by talking about you or if you just heard it. But again, appreciate the book. Enjoying the hell out of it now that I've had time to actually sit down and read again, which is something I do not do nearly often enough anymore. So you've got me back there. Thank you.
That flat fellow in chat says February 7th, a huge meetup at the flea market. That is in Columbus, South Carolina. And will it be a Saturday or a Sunday? I'm not sure what February 7th is. I'm just wait for his. My brain's just not working this morning. I can't do anything. Math isn't working, nothing. Sunday. Okay, it'll be on a Sunday. Sunday.
He was faster than my phone. I couldn't even get there.
Yeah, those are always fun too. I'm sure Lau will be there cooking. Go check out that Flat Fellows channel. He always throws up a couple. He'll do the Flat Earth game show where he asks ballers just, the basics. What's the circumference of the Earth? How fast is it rotating? Stuff like that. And if they get all three of them right, they get $20.
Ooh.
I'm not sure.
Nice.
I don't know if he's ever had to hand any money over.
Speaking of money over, that flat fellow throwing another one in right at the last second with more glasses for us. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'll call him as long as y'all throw them. And Dan wanting us to let Bob know we miss him. Well, sir, you just tune in this afternoon over there with us on this same flat channel, same flat time. No, we'll be hanging out with Bob and Josh's buddy Derek talking about ham radio. Oh, there it was.
Too much.
Too much or not enough?
Could have been not enough. You're right.
There we go. For some reason, the keyboard triggers are kind of hit and miss. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But I'm on the version that's not really bug free. So,
I forgot, man. I meant to mention this. Did anyone experience anything strange with the moon last night?
I saw those pictures you put in, man.
They were really bad, man. I'm so pissed off with this camera I have on this phone. That was the 50X, trying to get up really close and show the fact that the clouds were easily visible as in front of and behind that moon. It was coming towards us really low, really orange, really huge. And I could see the bank of clouds, it looking like it was above it, but obviously it was this way, closer to us. And as it got to that bank of clouds, it was literally like it was swirling through them. It was just, there it was, banking through those clouds. It was nuts. But the horrible photograph that I took trying to show that did not do it justice. But after it got through doing that, it was like the whole circle began, the moon cloud circle thing that I asked you guys, had you mentioned or had you noticed and stuff. So I didn't think to notice the sun during the day to see if it was doing the attraction thing. So, but obviously last night the moon, to me and what I saw making the huge circle around it, definitely seemed to be trying to push the clouds away. So I just wondered if anybody else saw that in chat and noticed. It was a huge moon. I don't know if it was actually even full, but it was super big last night.
It was just shy. Oh, yeah. The night before was the wolf moon.
I was thinking it already passed.
Okay. Yeah. The wolf moon.
Yeah.
That's true. Woo.
I got to work yesterday.
Dan Morris saw the sundogs. I did notice sundogs, but they had actually started spraying here again, so I just assumed they were chem dogs. But I did notice them, Dan, as well.
Seemed like they started spraying.
It says for me on my moon app, it says tonight is 99.4% full moon. So,
well, maybe it is. Just
I thought it was tonight, but I wasn't 100%.
Well, then it ought to be a really big show for us. Well, I'll be on psycho mode. But yeah, definitely a very chemtrail day for us. Out of the ordinary yesterday.
Did you see that article? Scientists believe that the full moon may affect our sleep patterns and menstrual cycles. You're just figuring that out now, scientists?
Catch up now, right?
Didn't you teach me that?
I think you're right, Josh.
When I was like 5.
Well, it's in the name of hormone as well, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's a derivative of two words, which is hour and moon.
Gotcha.
It's all right there in the language.
Makes more sense. Usually you just don't pay her.
Yeah, poke her in the eye.
Mm-hmm. If you really want to make a hormone. Anyway, this has been another exciting episode of the Ironworx right here on Truth Frequency Radio. Love you guys. Zach, Walt, Zach.
Love y'all.
Lucas.
Love y'all.
Chat.
Thank
everybody,
you.
It's been a pleasure. Stick around. We'll be back here later on in about 10 and a half, 11 hours for Have No Sphere. We'll be talking ham radios. Should be good. Be good. Be well. Bye bye.